Hello, hello, hello. Hi, how's it going? You're probably wondering, what the heck is going on? This is something I've wanted to do for a while. I don't even really know what it is, frankly. I've wanted to make something long form. We'll call it a podcast, but at the moment, this is exclusively up on my second channel, More Connor, which is more of a dead channel because it hasn't been uploaded to in like 6 years. I went on it and was like, what are these videos? Hundreds of strange videos of me at like 20 years old in college, uncut, raw, not in the first couple minutes, uncut and raw in my college. Oh my God, this is sounding like something else. I was in my college dorm room filming nothingness and it was embarrassing. So I privated everything on there and I thought, you know what? This is a better use of this channel, is to actually feel creative and actually feel worthwhile. So this is what this is. I thought I've been wanting to do something of this kind for a long time. And I always had the idea of it being something like everybody else, a podcast where I talk to everybody else and interview them, all the people that have unheard voices or that get underappreciated. But now this is just going to be everything else for now, just so I get it started. I feel like I constantly am met with having an idea and waiting for the perfect time to make that idea a reality. And I've wanted something in my eye. You can't see if you're listening to audio. I don't know how you'd even be listening to audio. I've had this idea for so long and I've just been waiting for the right co-host, the right production company, the right this, the right that. And guess what? Fun fact, that's never going to happen. Something I've learned in this life is that it's not worth waiting for things to fall into place most of the time to do something. Like if you are truly interested, you are truly passionate, if it's a repetitive thing in your mind, just fucking do it. Stop waiting. That's self-doubt. That you're being self-sabotaged by non-existent dates. So, no time better than the present. Let's do this. I want this podcast essentially, I don't even know if I can call it a podcast. I feel like I've been preparing for this by streaming on Twitch for the last 6 months or so, because it's really nerve-wracking to talk uncut and raw. Okay, we're back there again, to be so unfiltered. I feel like my YouTube videos are very perfect. You know, great transitions, color schemes, editing, very flashy, very false reality, very high or very difficult to live up to constantly. So this is my place of freedom. This is my place where I just get to be me. If you want that, we're here for it. First, on today's episode, I'm going to talk about my trip to New York. Did a little escape to New York. It was fantastic. I'm going to talk about Tyler, the Creator interview that I really enjoyed. A new movie that I saw that relates to it. DaBaby and Matt Damon. No, that's a little bit of old news, but I think celebrity ignorance is just very interesting. Home of Phobia. Welcome to the home of Phobia. The house of Phobia. And then I'm going to be talking about, I don't know, I have written down here Jennifer Aniston, Delta variant, vaccine mandates, et cetera, stress, fun, I don't know. This is going to be whatever it is. In full transparency, I already recorded 10 minutes of this and it didn't record for some reason. So here we are. Just trying my best. New York. I went to New York. I decided I was double vaxxed, wanted to see some friends, and I needed an escape. So I booked a last minute trip to New York to do just that. And it was great, honestly. Felt really, really nice. I landed and immediately did the opposite of what I would normally do. And that's see tons. I say tons, and I mean like 6 people, and get drunk and have a good night. It's the opposite of what I normally do. I went over to a friend of a friend's house and they had a legit pizza oven. I'm talking like stone in the ground, taller than myself, pizza oven, wood fire stove. It was wild. When they said we were going to have a pizza night, I thought, DiGiorno, Domino's, Pizza Hut, what? Like, I'm in either way. Let's go for it. But no, we were going full artisanal wood fire. So that was really exciting. And then we had tons of great wine too. So I was like, oh, I'm living my dream. This is what I came here for. This is great. I made a goat cheese, onion, sun-dried tomato, and then a little bit of honey pizza. And they raved. The reviews were in. 5 stars. People couldn't stop talking about it. It was great. I felt very validated in that moment. And in that vulnerable moment of being drunk in my first night in New York, a friend said, let's go for a run tomorrow morning. I said, sure. He said, how about a really long run? And I said, sure. Little did I know we were doing 16 miles. And I had like 16 glasses of wine. Not actually. It's hyperbole. Don't worry. But I was really drunk. So wine hangover the next morning, I actually felt like a raisin. Like I got out of bed and thought, I have 0 water within me. I know humans are like 90% water, but there's none in me. I am bones. I am skin. I am hair. I am nothing else. But I still went for the run. They picked me up for the run and we did this really beautiful run. Like I felt like I was living in a fantasy. We ran across the entire east side of Manhattan. And there are tons of bridges connecting Manhattan to the Brooklyn, Queen, like the mainland, I guess, because it's an island. Weird. That's very strange. It's like a literal island. And so we ran like down the Lower East Side, across the Brooklyn Bridge, up, across the Williamsburg Bridge, up. So we like made our way. We were like zigzagging up the island, running across these beautiful bridges, seeing New York in like a hungover stupor, but it was still amazing. I thought I was living my fantasy. Felt like I was Logan Lerman in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Or I guess rather Emma Watson. I was in the tunnel of Perks of Being a Wallflower and my hands were up and I'm like, I am free. I was Rose on the Titanic. I am free. It felt great. It really did. It's fantastic. It's where we'll pause it because obviously both those movies have relatively sad endings. I felt that part. I felt the good part, the middle chunk. And then the rest of the time I just like took public transport, got tons of pastries, walked around. My walking is exponentially increased when I'm in New York. Here it's like lucky if I get like a mile or 2 walking a day. There it's like lucky if I don't break my legs from walking so far. It was like 8 miles a day just walking everywhere. It's great. And also like public transportation in New York is amazing. I don't know where everyone lives listening to this, but in Los Angeles, public transport is dog shit. It's just like, everything is spread out. So there are miles in between things you need to get to, but also the actual public transport is like non-existent. In New York, you can take the subway, you can take a taxi, you can take a scooter, a city bike, an Uber, a helicopter. You can literally take a helicopter. I would never, but it's an option. So you just feel very liberated. You feel like you can get anywhere, anytime, in minutes, which is really, really enjoyable. I took city bikes everywhere. Just kept like walking and then I take a city bike. So one day I took a city bike down to the east side and then I took it back up to Central Park. Got tons of pastries like the whole trip, but some of my favorite spots, I had these marked down, but I can't remember. So some of them, there's a place called Mel's on the Lower East Side. Fantastic croissants, delicious cinnamon cookies. Oh my gosh. There's a place called like Mazida, maybe it's Mazida, laissez-faire, la-di-da. My nose itches. And I had like a really good donut there. That was great. And then on the upper side, I cannot. On the upper side in Hell's Kitchen, because I'm not an idiot, there's a place called the Sullivan Street Bakery, and they have really fantastic bakes too, for anyone that wants to know that. Buttery, flaky, salty, delicious. I am a glutton for a pastry. So yeah, that's what I did. I escaped. It was great. Now I'm back, and I am in the need to just do this, to start this podcast and feel creative, feel refreshed, feel new. I feel very like boxed in by the encroaching? Yeah, sure. By the COVID just like running rampant again. I'm starting to get those feelings of like halfway through the pandemic, maybe last year, where it was like, it's hopeless. It'll never get better. It's only going to get worse. Existentialism, crisis, kind of feeling that. So I need to take control and just do something fun and creative. So here I am. I listened to, when I got back and I was in my jet lag stupor, I was just listening to tons of interviews, just kind of had them on repeat. One of the ones that I really enjoyed was an interview, as they called it, a rare interview with Tyler, the Creator, whom I absolutely adore. I know he's, somewhat controversial at times for some people. It's kind of why I like him. I think I like him because he pushes the limits, does his own thing, doesn't care that he's pushing the limits. He just does it. And I also enjoy I enjoy anybody who completely cares about art as a 360. He doesn't just make music. He cares about the color palette of the music, the typography of the music, the artists associated with the music, like the photographers, the designers, everything. He thinks about it all. And anybody who sees art in that way is so intriguing to me, because it's what I aspire to do. It's what I try to do with everything. So I appreciate that about Tyler, the Creator. And this interview was really fantastic. He was talking about, actually, I'm sure I can play a clip here. Let's play a clip. Whoa, crazy. We're playing a clip. Oh my gosh, on a long form podcast. What am I doing? Shut up, Connor, and just play the clip.
For example, say like you go to Hypebeast, right? And they post, Ron just got a blocka, right?
Love Ron.
And you read the article, and it's like 10 comments. And 9 out of those 10 comments is like, this shit trash, 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 right?
That's true, too.
Cool, whatever. 2 hours later, you go meet your friend at a fucking ill gay club coffee shop in fucking, I don't know, wherever the fuck, New Jersey, right? That's what Ebro be on.
Ill gay club coffee shop. Just know, wherever you think I am at any moment of any day, that's where I am. A gay club coffee shop.
Yo, you heard about Ron new shit? You're more so probably going to say, yeah, I heard about it, man. People not fucking with it.
Right.
Right?
Facts.
He's going to say, people not fucking with it? Yeah, I'm seeing people think that shit trash, right? His reference point now of that thing existing is like, damn, people ain't fucking with it.
Right.
So basically, long story short, he was talking a lot about of your perception of what's good and bad. And I feel like I fall to this trope so often now, because there's so much content out there that before like I go see a movie, I'm going to go look at the reviews of the movie. And if the reviews are mixed, I'm so much less likely to go see the movie suddenly, because I'm trusting these reviews. I'm trusting strangers to tell me something's good or bad. Or what's worse is like, if I heard, like let's say Billie Eilish's new album came out, and let's say I hadn't listened to it, and a friend says, don't listen to it, it's not that good. There's a chance maybe I won't listen to it, because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's not good. And then maybe I'll type into Twitter like Billie Eilish, and like a first couple are like, it's fine. So suddenly my reality says like, this thing is bad. This thing isn't worth my time. And then something new pops up like the next minute, because there's so much content, and I forget about it. But what if I missed out on something that actually resonated with me, or something that was actually good to me? Those articles, friends, their perspectives, it's their opinion. It's not my opinion. Maybe it's going to resonate with me. Maybe it's actually good to me. So he was talking about a lot about that, about people saying, you know, like certain things he doesn't do isn't good because they haven't like heard it on the radio, or things that he's done, you know, they haven't seen people walking around in his clothes. And he's like, I don't know, it's good to me. I don't know why you care so much. Or like, I don't know what point you're trying to make going around like saying something is bad. It's an opinion, it's a perspective, it's not a fact. Also, like, what a waste of time to go around and be negative about something. Think about that all the time. The amount of time that we, the royal we, but also myself, I like would rather talk about something I dislike than something I like. It's just like such a waste of time. Like, shouldn't I be exclusively saying like, this thing is fucking great, you should watch, listen to, interact with, buy this thing? Like, why am I telling you not to do something? What was that? It was like a claw. It's just such a waste of time. So I don't know. I found that really fantastic. And then it related to the fact that I saw a couple A24 films over the past months. A24 is a production company or a film house, what have it. And they released Zola, which was a great movie, and The Green Knight, which was a pretty good movie. I liked it, but it wasn't necessarily what I thought it was going to be. But what's interesting is that now I have the power for both of those. What I just said just now, that like it was interesting, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, might now influence you. Influence, influencer, influential. Not me, I swear to God. You might not watch it now because of that one interaction, which is just, I don't know, that's wild to me. I know that happens in everyday life. This place isn't good. Or like one of the bakeries I went to in New York, if it had like 3 recent reviews that said gross, disgusting, bad this, bad that, I probably wouldn't have gone there. I would have just gone to the one up the street. But suddenly, maybe I missed out because 3 random people had bad experiences, but the food is actually really great. I don't know. I just think it's really important to be aware of that on a day-to-day basis. Formulating your own opinions versus just accepting what the world gives to you. So listening to that Tyler, the Creator interview, I don't know. It like was one of those things where I couldn't stop thinking about it. And it was a great reminder to take control of my own life, my own perspectives, and just not let the world feed me what it wants. So yeah, that was a good one. That was interesting. Everything that I talk about, by the way, I'll put down below if you want to go watch it, listen to it, etc. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and this one is like semi-old news, but recent because of the headline I woke up to this morning, is both DaBaby and Matt Damon having issues with the LGBTQIA plus community, the alphabet mafia. The ding community. I honestly think both of these are great reminders of how ignorant people still are. Like, if for some reason you have no idea, I found Matt Damon's, I'm not gonna lie, I found it really funny because it was just so stupid. So Matt Damon did an interview where he actively told the interviewer that he had recently, within the last month or 2, used the F slur. Baguette, but with an F. He had used it as a joke. Like, what? Like, why? I just love how he actively gave that information away. Hold that close to the chest, sir. Don't do it. But don't tell people like, what? You're crazy. So hilarious. I cannot believe, like, he thought he did something. The whole thing was him saying he had said it as a joke in context to a movie he had did or something, and his daughter was like, you can't do that. You can't say that. That's not okay. X, Y, and Z. And he finally understood, or he said he understood that he couldn't say it. But I just thought it was funny that he thought he had done something. Like, he thought that was like his act of kindness for the queer community. Real big trailblazer there. Not using a slur. Jesus Christ. So I just found it funny, but I also wasn't surprised at all. It truly was just, it was laughable to me because I thought it was funny more that people were surprised that like people are ignorant nowadays, that someone wouldn't know to use that. I have been to plenty of gatherings of people, both like semi-related to me, they are related to me, and people even just like in Los Angeles who have said ridiculously, call a spade, homophobic things, and they don't even know it. They have no idea. And then you have to like think, do I want to take this moment to educate this person, or is it not even worth it? Like, is it not worth them potentially fighting? I don't even know. So it's just such a funny thing. I was not surprised at all. The thing that I found interesting about DaBaby, for everyone that doesn't know, DaBaby was on stage and he made some ignorant comments about specifically, I guess, gay men, but more like queer men and HIV and AIDS. He made he made some sort of comment basically insinuating that if you have HIV and AIDS, you are, 1, I think he said unclean, 2, you'll die within a few weeks. And he also just pushed a stigma that just it does not, it's all false. All of it is false. People live full lives with HIV and AIDS nowadays. You can, not everybody, you know, there's a certain access to healthcare there, and that I don't want to forget about, but it is very possible. Also, there's like anybody can get HIV and AIDS. It's not just a gay male disease. That's ridiculous to say. Also, it doesn't make, you're not a bad person if you get that. You're not an unclean person. You're not less of a person if you have HIV and AIDS. So the reason that what he said was so wrong and so hurtful is that the intention there was definitely harm. So what followed, and what I actually found so interesting, is that he started losing opportunities. Like, people actively started speaking out against it, which genuinely I was shocked about. Like, even he has, you know, like a massive song with Dua Lipa, one of the biggest songs of the last year or two, Levitating. And she like actively spoke out against him. She didn't have to do that. You know, she could have waited a week and people would have forgot, genuinely. So the fact that she did that actively, I don't know. I felt like that was quite powerful. And then we had places like Lollapalooza, the Governor's Ball, Midtown Music, iHeartRadio, all these big festivals and music events dropped him, you know, actively saying what he did was wrong and standing with, directly or indirectly, the queer community, which again, I just like found very powerful, because that doesn't always happen. You know, things like that happen all the time, and nothing ever happens. Their lives go on. And I mean, frankly, both little voice squeak there, both DaBaby and Matt Damon will be fine. Like, as much as like they're quote unquote getting canceled, or as much as like there have been repercussions for their actions. Feel sorry, say you're sorry, you know, they'll be fine. I just found it interesting because DaBaby finally released like an apology about this on his Instagram, which was clearly written for him. He didn't write this, clearly. There's no way. And then the motherfucker deleted the apology like 24 hours later, or like 48 hours later. He deleted his apology, even though, I don't even know, maybe it wasn't well received. Maybe that's why he deleted it. But either way, he said, he's going to be a company during Pride Month, the end of June to the first day of July. I stand with you. I'm so sorry. Gotta go. New day, new me, gotta go. Money to make. New community to exploit. Again, it's just like comical. I cannot believe. Just can't believe it. I can't even fathom. So I think my main takeaway from things like this, again, is that I'm not shocked. There's still so much we need to do for acceptance for people of minority groups. So much needs to be changed in our education system so that this doesn't happen. You know, people need to be taught about the AIDS, HIV epidemic crisis of 50 years ago in school. They should know about this. They should learn about this. People should be learning about safe sex in their health classes so that they know that it's not something that's like dirty or something that only happens to queer people. Like, spoiler alert, everybody gets STDs, or everybody can get STDs. It's not just like a gay thing. I don't know. It's just, there's so much room to grow here. So I find it comical that people were surprised, but I find that it was a reminder that we still have so much further to go. Also, I just still can't. I'm like laughing in my head at this like fictional scenario where Matt Damon asks for someone to pass the baguette and he accidentally says the other word. Oh, can I have the baguette? Do you have any butter and jam for my baguette? I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, it tickles me. Tickles me. Shouldn't, but it does. I'm not surprised. Moving on. COVID, the Delta variant, mask mandates. I know everyone is sick of hearing this, so hopefully I found a way to put like time codes below, but y'all, what is wrong with people? I was at a Trader Joe's the other day, and there was an anti-mask, anti-vax march next to a fucking Trader Joe's. Know your audience. People shopping at Trader Joe's are not that. They're the white women of Instagram. Oh, maybe they are that. No, they're like quirky teens, millennials, and people who like good branding on pretty decent food. I love Trader Joe's, I'm not gonna lie. It's great. It's great. I love it. I'm sorry. I can't help it. But I get back to LA after being in New York, and all of a sudden, suddenly, we're back in the heat of the pandemic. Like, suddenly, yesterday, we had 4,200 cases of COVID. Most likely, a lot of that is from the Delta variant. Delta variant sounds like a drag name. Delta Plus sounds like a seat on an airplane. See some sort of fancy seat at a club. Hotel, perhaps. No, it's not fun. It's not like that. We don't want it. I'll stay back in economy. My seat is good. I don't want to go up there. 4,200 cases. Fucking idiots. Especially like in America, where the vaccines are so accessible at the moment. They're free. For people to not get them is absolutely ludicrous. We've had a year and a half and people are still misinformed. Like, what have you been doing for a year and a half? Do a Google search. Read an article. Dissect a study. Just anything. Try harder. It's exhausting, honestly. Because, like, I haven't gotten... I'm knocking on wood. I haven't gotten COVID. Got my vaccine. Stayed away from people for the most part. Have been like socially distancing. My pizza thing was outside. Even though... Wow, that was a honk. Even though cases are low, like I'm trying to do my part. And then for things to get worse again, it is just defeating. And it's partially why I'm like, vaccine mandates? Give them to me. I'm ready. Like, if people are not willing, when it's this accessible in America, I'm sorry. I'm ready. Do it. Maybe that's a stupid take, but I feel desperate. I saw a great tweet the other day that was talking about how people think it's so radical to like implement certain levels of healthcare, you know, like a mandate. And they were like, they've outlawed smoking from hotels, restaurants, bars. That's like a health mandate. They don't allow it because people will die from secondhand smoke. Like, you don't want to be eating your delicious filet of salmon. You don't want to be eating your delicious slab of butternut squash with a side of quinoa and cancer. You don't want it. Of course you don't want it. You don't want that at all. You just want the salt and the pepper, please. Of course. So yeah, it's like funny that people think that restaurants can't do that. They can't like have their employees get vaccinated, or you can't only go into the bar if you've been vaccinated. It's like, yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. You can't go into the bar if you're smoking a cigarette because you're a danger to other people. You shouldn't be able to go into the bar if you haven't been vaccinated because you're a danger to the other people. Same thing with like seatbelts in cars. It's illegal to not wear your seatbelt in most, if not all, states in the US. It's for your safety. It's for the safety of other people. So if they hit you, you don't die. It's not that hard to wrap your head around. I don't. Like, on a personal standpoint, the fact that things keep getting worse is so defeating. When you've been doing so well, I don't want to miss my 20s. Like, I don't want to miss the rest of my 20s. And like, there are so many kids that don't want to miss school. They don't want to miss graduation. They don't want to miss like their first job. They're like their early 20s when they're like first going out to party. Like, it's so sad for people who are being selfish, for all the people that just want to live their life. I don't know. It's like, it's such a difficult one because I do want to be sensitive about it, but I'm like, you can only go to most schools if you've gotten vaccinated. So how do you see this as being anything but different? Saw like an interesting thing that was trending too the other day. It's about Jennifer Aniston. She like was quoted saying that she had lost a few friends in her life, or she'd cut them out of her weekly routine or whatever because they weren't getting vaccinated. And people were like, that's crazy. Cutting out friends because of political differences in healthcare. Like, that's crazy. No, it's not. It's not. This isn't something that should be debated. Like, I'm not going to go around people that I know if they're not vaccinated for their safety and for mine, like for both of our safeties. Sorry, but I'm not sorry about it. So I just think it's funny that people think stuff like this is radical. I'm like, no, it's for your safety. God. Anyways, that's where I'm at. I don't even have like a proper ending to this. I just kind of wanted to talk about some interesting things that I had saw in the news. Some like really good, some really like interesting stories, some things that have been trending that week in terms of like movies and music that I've seen. Again, I saw The Green Knight by A24. I actually did really enjoy it. It's a little bit weird, a little bit kooky. You get to see Dev Patel's butt and some bodily fluids. There's a weird scene with bodily fluids. Very strange. A male that works on a boat is a seaman. That's all I'll say. It's very interesting. So, but I enjoyed it. I went to see it by myself because no one else wanted to go see it with me. And visuals, stunning. Acting, stunning. A24, they really never miss. Definitely give it a shot for sure. In terms of music that I was listening to this week, obviously Billie Eilish. The ending to Happier Than Ever, like those last 3 minutes of the song or so, or like 2 minutes of the song. Oh my God. So good. The song is half peaceful, half madness, and I love it so much. So emotional. Like, I could feel her emotion while she was singing, and it was really, is really beautiful and moving. Again, I just think she's such a talent. So congrats, Billie. I also was listening to a lot of Willow Smith's new album. I feel like people weren't talking about it, but I really enjoyed it. She has a few songs on there I like, but the one that I was listening to a lot was called Don't Save Me. She had another one on there called Lipstick and Naive. I like both of those, but Don't Save Me was weirdly one of my favorites. It's good. It's like this punk rock era that's being brought back, and I'm just really excited. And then the Vince Staples album as well, the entire thing. It's rap. It's fresh. Every song is like a banger. I listened, I read an interesting bit that apparently he made every song on the album syncable, which means every song was meant to be potential for like a movie soundtrack, a commercial. It's meant that it could kind of fit into a piece of media or art beyond his own, which I thought was interesting. I've never heard of anyone doing that for an entire album, but it really feels like that. Every song is really fast paced, really upbeat, really good. I feel like I could see it in a movie or hear it in a commercial. So congrats to Vince. Good stuff. But anyways, that's it. That's really all I got this week. For all I know, this was completely out of focus and the audio's messed up. I don't know. I was sick of waiting. I feel like I need to rip the Band-Aid off and take control of my life. Like a perfect co-host or perfect idea may come along eventually, but for now, I'm just going to take control and make a long-form podcast and practice speaking without jump cuts, because honestly, my brain has melted over the last 10 years of being on YouTube from speaking in like segments, memeable, quotable sentences. My brain is gone. But this has been an episode of Everything Else, episode number 1. Who knows what will happen? I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click the like button. Leave a comment telling me what you want me to talk about. Who knows? Anything could happen. Guests that you want me to have on. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a guest. Anything could happen. But I think at the moment it's just going to be kind of like a week in review along with an update from myself and any sort of topics or stories that I find interesting. And I can finally talk about in long form, because I haven't had that on YouTube specifically in a really long time. So I'm excited. It feels kind of like how I felt when I started streaming. It's like this new frontier. There's nowhere to go but up, or there's nowhere to go but to like get better as I go. So I'm learning, I'm living, feeling great. If you were eating a meal while watching this, which is what I do, nice voice crack, which is what I do when I listen to podcasts, I hope you had a great meal. If you were like trying to fall asleep, I hope you're falling asleep. Good night. Sleep well. If you're in the car, please don't crash. Thank you so much. It's been great. It's been awesome. And I'll see you super soon, potentially as early as next week. Okay. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.